Shalom Aleichem, everyone. We're continuing here in Hachzeg's learning of the Pele Yoetz. Today is day number 135, third day of Hanukkah, and we are holding over here in the chapter of Gazel of robbery. V'yadua, and it's known, says the Pele Yoetz, shegezel hagoy chamer migezel Yisrael. Stealing from a goy, from a non-Jew, is more severe and worse than stealing from a Jew. Shenil ve'ima, because along with the stealing, gam avain chila Hashem hachamor, the very severe sin of chila Hashem, of desecrating Hashem's name, comes along with it. Yes, of course, if you steal from a Jew, you are being mechal Hashem as well. But the Pele Yoetz is learning over here based on the words of Chazal that the amount of desecration of HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name that a Jew could make by stealing from a goy, besides the unruly midos and character traits that we spoke about the last day or so, he's going to now make the impression on a non-Jew that it's okay to steal. What a tremendous chil Hashem! What a way to desecrate HaKadosh Baruch Hu's name. Because of Mekubalim, and the Mekubalim, the Kabbalists write, She Yisrael HaGoyz HaGoy, and when a Jew steals from a goy, Goyrem shehasar shalagoy yigzal shefa me'akedusha el haklipa. So the Sar, the ministering angel of that Goyish nation, has the right to come and steal the bounty of kedusha, of holiness, from the Jewish people. And it, like as we mentioned the other day, that there's these sparks of kedusha that are trapped in the world of the klipas, of the shell, of the barriers. Then the purpose of a Jew is to come and reveal and release all of that kedusha. But what happens when a Jew steals from a goy, the goyish sar, his malach, his angel, his minister, spiritual minister, is able to go and he extracts these sparks of kedusha for that nation, and the Jewish people lose out big time. Even though that we learn, Ta'uz hagoy mutar, if a goy makes a mistake in their monetary dealings with you, you're allowed to benefit from that. For example, according to the letter of the law, if you go to the store and the cashier, who's a non-Jew, and the store is owned by non-Jews, gives you back too much change, you're supposed to get $1, they give you back $10, Taos Akum, that's the mistake of the goy. You could keep the money. You could, if according to the letter of the law, you want to make a Kiddush Hashem, make a Kiddush Hashem and give the money back. However, even though that if they made a mistake, you're allowed to benefit from the mistake, but it's also, you're not allowed, it's prohibited to be the one that causes them to make the mistake, or to mistake them and to mislead them. That you cannot do, and that's why Gezel HaGoy is so bad. And if you would sell a goy, a nevela, which means an animal that died of natural causes or the like, and you tell them, oh, it's shechted, I did shchita, so it's a very kosher animal over here. You give them counterfeit money. Oh, this is great, $100 bill, look how crisp it is, really nice. Or you want to be ma'ariv them, you want to mix them in with, you want to mix in the money that's counterfeit with good money, so they won't really be able to tell the difference. Ha'koil asr, everything is asr. V'gazel gomer mikra, that's called complete robbery that you're doing from this person. V'yesh min gazel acher shenimsim bein hashutfim. There's another kind of gezel that a person could be violating, and that's when you have two partners in a business. Kisha echad kamsan, one of them is very stingy, milahaitzi haitzas bebeisai, and he doesn't want to spend the money from his earnings to take care of his wife and his children. So so then his partner comes along. He's a compassionate fellow, and he sees, we say, you have Reuven and Shimon, and Reuven just cannot spend his money on his family. And Shimon says, what a crime. You're making money in it, but you're not doing it. So he says, I feel so bad for your wife and your kids. So what does he do? So he takes money from the business, and he ends up giving it to Reuven's wife over here, that she should be able to survive and live and put food on the table and shoes on the feet of the children. And then he goes back into the business money, and he takes more money for himself. He's stealing, and he's a sinner, and he's taking what doesn't belong to him. So if he thinks that he's being compassionate, he thinks he's doing a chesed, he thinks he's helping this poor woman, and in the end he steals from the pot of the business itself. So then what did you accomplish? You took money that doesn't belong to you. So you want to be a kind person on somebody else's cheshbon? You can't do such a thing. There's another way that seems to be just and straight in the eyes of people, especially in the eyes of the women. They give tzedakah, or they give presents, or they share their money with other people, without the husband's knowing about it or consenting. This is also called gezel. This is called robbery. You're stealing from the money that doesn't belong to you. A husband and a wife, their money goes together. If the wife is busy giving tzedakah left and right, she's taking care of different family members without the consent of the husband, that's tantamount to gezel, to stealing, and you can't do such a thing. Says the Pele Yoetz further, Shaya Shalom Midas, let's say he borrows something without the permission of the owner of that thing. Gazan, he's a Gazan, he's a thief as well. And many people make this mistake when it comes to borrowing people's shoes that don't belong to them, or their svarim that don't belong to them, or similarly, meaning in the times of the Pele Yoetz, it was, I guess, common that people would not have shoes, so they would borrow somebody's shoes to go walk down the street. So it would be similar in our day and age. If you would borrow somebody's jacket, you borrow somebody's car, you took somebody's bike without their permission, so on and so forth, that's called stealing, if they don't give you explicit permission. So to be very careful, says the Pele Yoetz, and you have to weigh things out carefully. Don't take food and drink from a person who says, eat, drink, but you see that he's not really, his heart is not with him. He's not really interested in giving you the food to eat or the drink to drink, but he's doing it anyway. Or he'll lower the price. You're going to a store and you start bargaining with the guy. He doesn't really want to lower the price, but Mishum Kisuv, he's embarrassed. So he says, okay, fine, take it. So the Ika Serech Gazel, even there's a touch. There's a drop of robbery that's there as well. So be careful, even to go to someone's home and you're like extorting them for food and drink. And he's like, yeah, take, drink. But you can sense that the person doesn't really mean it, can't take. And don't bargain the guy in the store and then he's going to give it to you for less price. And then you take it, he says, fine, just take it. You embarrass him, you forced him into a situation where he has to give away food, drink, items that he sell that he doesn't want to even sell for that price. That's a drop of a gezel, and therefore stay away. And there are those people that they take from their friends by thinking that they're receiving a gift over here, or they're getting something very cheap, but they did it al korcham, they did it against the will of this person, not for the sake, not for the benefit of the bailam, of the owner over here. Gazel gamor, that's complete gezel over here when you're extorting this person. And furthermore, you also transgress the prohibition of lo sachmar. I'm not allowed to covet other people's things. Umanim ubefrat melamdi is workers, craftsmen, and specifically those that teach children. If you don't do your work be'amuna properly, and you do the honest day's work for the honest day's pay, yadam b'ma'al, you in your hands is improper funds. V'gazel yesh b'yadam, you have stolen. If you don't do your job in the way that you're supposed to do your job, you're a thief. Take the paycheck at the end of the month and you were busy doing other things and not being careful about how you were using your time wisely and how you're putting in your effort and the like. That's gezel. Ksiv goizel aviv v'imoi, and it says in Mishlei, a person who steals from his father and his mother, and he says, Ein pasha Yeah, he said, I didn't do anything wrong. It's my parents' money. They're going to give it to me anyway. So when I went into my mother's purse and I took $20 bills, so what? So when I saw my father's wallet lying around, I need to go someplace, and I just reach into the wallet, I take the credit card, and I run. It's not gezel. No. He is a friend, a companion to the destroyer, which means you have done terrible when you steal from your parents. And unfortunately, because of this sin, there's many children who are breaching this trust between them and their parents, and goizim, and they steal from their fathers and their mothers on somewhat of a constant basis. And if this person takes and he steals from his father, and he never ever asked mechila, he never asked forgiveness, he never took care of it, so if the father now passes away while the son had already stolen so much from his father, he has to make amends and rectify everything by working it out with the brothers, his brothers, the sons of their father that are left over, to make sure that he restores and returns the money to them, that he shouldn't go down in history as the one who stole from his father and his mother. A lot of things that we have to be aware of and particular with, otherwise the person can trample on Gezel all day long. Rahmana litzlan. Have a wonderful day.